Hello, folks. Roscoe here again. This isn't gonna be the normal case file story. In the grace of Christmas, I got my best buddy back. And that's a tale you'll need to find on BN's channel when she decides to release it. For this story, I want to tell you why I believe in Santa Claus and his less than desirable counterpart, Krampus. Mostly Krampus. Yes, this is a holiday story, and in the most festive way possible, I would like to disclose that jolly old Saint Nick is a fucking douchebag. Oh yeah, before I get deep in the shit, I want to thank that PA Nightmares fella for giving my memoirs a bigger outreach. You're doing this world a service, and your voice is pretty spot on. The more people who know the crazy supernatch out there, the better. This happened while I was on R&R. Took a trip out to Europe for the holidays. Even stayed at a hostel. Now I was quite bummed when it didn't turn out like the movie. The sex part, not the murdering. Anyways, I was staying in a little sleepy Bavarian village. It was quite nice. Believe it or not, they actually like tourists. Well, what I didn't know was that they hold a holiday festival with people in costumes of Saint Nick and Krampus. It was pretty fun. There was booze all over the place. There was this one Santa Claus that was a bit belligerent, to put it lightly. That drunk bastard was picking fights with everyone, including myself. Now, you all might hate me for this, but I beat the living shit out of drunky Santa Claus. You don't get to put hands on anyone, let alone me. That's what kinda got me into this pickle. Later that night, when I nestled myself in bed, I was visited by Santa. The real Santa. Not that I knew it at the time. I thought the bastard wanted a round two. So I got up and got ready for it. That's when he spoke. He told me I've been a bit of a dick lately, and I needed to calm my shit down. Stop the senseless killings, because it's not what he wants me to do. And to teach me a lesson, he has Krampus whoop my ass. Again. I didn't think this was the real Saint Nick, so I Spartan kicked the shit out of his chest, just on principle. That was a mistake. He brushed it off and gave me that tisk, tisk, tisk while waving his finger. Suddenly, he Sith Lord Lightning bolted my ass. That fucking sucked. And this was way before the vamp blood, so it was a bit of a bitch to recover. And that's when that Hooven monstrosity stuffed me in a knapsack. I was blacked out from the pain, so I have no clue what happened immediately after that. I was partially conscious as I was coming to, and it seemed I was taken to a weird village. The village was filled with dwarves, pointy ears, and all that jazz. I was left splayed out in the center of town on a brick circle with a pole in the center of it. Okay, hold the fuck up. This was the North Pole. The goddamn North Pole. And that was the real Santa. Guy's a bit of an asshole. Now I woke up, butt-ass naked, and it was cold. Really fucking cold. Not gonna lie, I'm probably on the naughty list forever after this. I rushed to an alleyway and mugged an elf for their jacket. Yeah, I did that, and I'm not sorry. I made a makeshift loincloth out of it, so my junk didn't catch frostbite. Being the tallest person in town also has its perks. Like I could see over all the huts and the buildings in town. Had to get on my tippy toes to do it, but still, it was neat. Now, I need to find that jolly old fat fuck and get myself out of here. Sure enough, that bastard's house stands out like a sore thumb. It was a normal-sized home. I'd say about the size of a four-bedroom Midwestern. I'd say about the size of a four-bedroom Midwestern house. Compared to the village, though, it was a fucking mansion. Shit, the doghouse was bigger than most of the huts. And guess who I found in that goddamn doghouse? Krampus. Yeah, being locked up like a damn pet. Some Nordic demigod is being treated like shit by the big fat man. Now, I know what you're thinking. But Krampus is evil. How can you be so sure about that? Seems to me he's just doing the fat man's dirty work so he can keep a good image in front of the kids. I did what any sensible man in a loincloth would do. I freed the beast, and not in a sexual way. I took Krampus off his leash. Surprised it's not magical. No witty incantation to remove it or nothing. He was able to stand up and stretch and gave a good chuckle. He thanked me in a voice I'd never thought he would have had. It was like those chipmunk cartoons back in the day. For a big burly monster looking thing, he was a pussycat. Nicest demigod I've ever met. He stood about 7 foot flat, give or take a few inches. He was a tall son of a bitch. I had told him I was looking for a way to get back home, or at least back to my hotel room. Apparently, Christmas had already passed, so Saint Fat Ass ain't going anywhere for a while, and his reindeer are on holiday, so that's out of the question. The best bet would be sneak into the house and try to find that magic sack the old fat fuck uses to transport an infinite amount of goodies in. Now I'm assuming it's the same sack that was used to bring my ass here. Apparently, if we could harness enough fire in the bag, we could use it to jetpack our asses out of here. Sounds like a fucking cartoon, honestly, but hell, what other option do I got? Now, getting to that Santa sack is going to be a doozy. I gotta break into that fat fuck's home. Being scantily clad in a loincloth, I don't have any of my gear with me, so it's going to be old-fashioned POW tactics, I suppose. I find a little metal toothpick looking thing on the ground near one of the huts. Might have been a tool for the smaller folk of the residents. And I used that to pick the lock on St. Asshole's home. Slid into the house and closed the door behind me, leaving Krampus outside for surveillance. That fat ass was passed out in front of his fireplace with a bottle in one hand and a cigar in the other. Would be a shame if this bastard had an accident. I decided not to kill him, on behalf of all the kids in the world, even though he had it coming. I slid past him into a bedroom. I was amazed at what I saw. Butt naked Mrs. Claus. And she was a looker. She just gotten out of the shower when she noticed me. She didn't scream or anything. She just shot me a glare, and I covered my eyes, partially, while she got dressed. I don't want to get into details, but apparently she took her chance to be with Santa after her modeling career started to flop. Good on her, I suppose, but she has to be aware that she's married to a psycho. I told her I was just trying to get back home, and if she knew any of that I told her I was just trying to get back home, and if she knew anything of the magic sack, not the one that resides between his legs. She pulled the bag out of the closet for me, and bid me adieu. I tipped my imaginary hat at her, and I leapt out the window. Couldn't afford to go out the way I came. I managed to make my way back to Krampus and told him we needed to hurry. Old Fatty might be waking up soon. I hopped on his back as we sprinted around town, gathering up all the flame we could. When we heard Saint Asshole yelling, he chased after us, but it was already too late. We both straddled that sack like we were cold prom dates, and ripped open the back, letting that magic flame blast out of there. Even managed to burn off all the hair off that fat fuck's face. He's sporting a fake beard now. We rode that sack all the way back to my hotel room. It was brilliant, but now I'm stuck with a huge hairy monster. I told him to hang tight while I got dressed, and then we could figure out how to get him back home. When I finished getting dressed, he vanished. Left the sack for me, though. I suppose he's hiding in Europe now. I haven't seen the guy since. As for me now, Santa hasn't bothered coming back for me yet. Doesn't mean he will, but just as an extra precaution, I have the sack open at the bottom of my chimney in case he decides to try and pay me a visit. Well, kids, this has been fun. Remember to tip your waitresses and don't fuck with a mall Santa. It may be the real one. Until next time, ciao.